Sheriff Chad Cronos with the Hillsborough County Sheriff's Office. To my right is Major Joe Franza, Commander of Troop C with the Highway Patrol, Chief Bach with Hillsborough County Fire, and Captain Hensley.
Yes.
Captain Hensley, also with the Florida Highway Patrol. Ready? Everybody ready? At about 2:21 this afternoon, we had a helicopter that suffered catastrophic engine failure and had to make an emergency landing here on 50th Street, just north of Palm River Road. As he came in for a hard landing and during his crash, one of the rotor blades came off, went across the street, and struck a Chevy Silverado pickup that was traveling northbound. There was a driver and a passenger in that vehicle. Unfortunately, one of the rotor blades that broke off struck the passenger of the vehicle, and he succumbed to his injuries here at the scene. The driver of that, who was the son driving the truck, was transported to Tampa General Hospital. The other injuries that we have is Hillsborough County Fire Rescue and Chief Bach's team transported the pilot, some heat exhaustion and some dehydration issues, also was now just transported to Tampa General Hospital. Major Franza, the commander of Troop C, has activated the statewide FLARE team. And what that is a group of highly trained, specifically trained investigators, traffic homicide investigators that deal with unique circumstances such as these. So at this time, the Florida Highway Patrol will be taking this death investigation over and working the scene from this period forward. It will take quite some time for the NTSB to come on scene. We're estimating maybe about an hour to 2 hours for them to arrive to conduct the traffic crash investigation from the helicopter. And then from the perspective of the traffic crash, we're looking at several hours for the Florida Highway Patrol to conduct their thorough traffic homicide investigation here. I say that because unfortunately 50th Street up to 60 and probably several miles south will be closed to be able to preserve the evidence and the traffic crash scene here where everything happened. Only what I revealed, and for some reason the helicopter experienced catastrophic engine failure. He wasn't able to get it started again. It started to auto rotate, and he was able to make a landing. Unfortunately, a very hard landing, ended up striking a telephone pole, which damaged the helicopter, which unfortunately damaged one of the rotor blades, which ended up horrifically striking the passenger of the traveling in the pickup truck. The cable struck the cable. I don't know about a disruption in service. I'll have to get all of you a better update on that. What's that? I can't right now, only because next of kin hasn't been notified. So unfortunately, we'll provide updates as we get them. Just unfortunately, next of kin hasn't been notified. We're not able to release any other information than what I have so far. You mean as far as the pilots? No, ma'am, I don't know that. The question is if we knew where the driver, the vehicle, and the passenger were traveling, and I don't have that information. There was not. These are truly highly trained pilots. From what we're told, the helicopter had went in for service. They tested everything, made sure everything was functioning properly, conducted all their checklist of their flight plan, and were on their way back to Sarasota when unfortunately experienced that catastrophic engine failure. Yes, that's correct. The father, who was the passenger of the vehicle, and unfortunately was struck by the blade, the piece of the blade that broke off, and he lost his life. I don't know all what broke off. I do know that the portion of the blade that broke off is the cause of death for the passenger of that vehicle. That depends who you ask. I'm sure the passenger of that truck probably doesn't feel that way right now, but unfortunately, we have one death versus it could have been multiple deaths. So if you look at it that way, you know, we're extremely fortunate. I preliminary, and I'm not a flight investigator by any means, but I can say this: thank God no one else was injured or hurt.
Do we know if you guys think helicopters were located? Because the tail number is not registered to any entity here in Florida. Do we know what you were doing here?
I do not. Like I mentioned before, the only thing I knew is that they were transporting the helicopter from service back to where it was, I guess, belonged, and back to Sarasota where it was leased, whatever the case may be. Thank you, everyone.